Rocky Waste and Stony Tomb is terrorized. That's convenient. Oh, I know what we needed to do. We gotta highlight that. Conduit, mangled, you know, fixes. Sat on a chair. What doing? Is it? What's up, YouTube? Mr. People say, yeah, well, Diablo 3. A little disappointing. Okay. Diablo 4 patch notes 1.03. Is that right? You think gold find gets boosted? I'm not sure if it does, but it'd be cool if it did. There's tons of viable source builds in D4. I'm saying every source build is using Frost Nova, Ice Shield, Flame Shield, Teleport, and Firebolt Enchant. Thus you get 2 skills and 1 enchant. Which wouldn't be as big of a deal if 1, all those things weren't so important, and 2, if you could use more than 6 skills. They're using tele only and other variations. Again, every source uses teleport in Diablo 2, but you can use unlimited skills. So, doesn't matter. And if you're a sorceress not using Flame Shield and Ice Shield, you're just a bad sorceress. I'm sorry.
I can't carry anymore.
You're like, I have Flame Shield so I can go unstoppable. Nope. There you go, Malevolence. Or D4? We looked at the patch notes. Necro has the same issue. Most builds require the same 3 to 4 skills. And Barbarian as well, yeah. Again, I don't know Druid and I don't know Rogue how much they need of the same skills, but you don't understand the design choice? It was designed for console. And yes, on a console you could allow for push a trigger and have 6 more skills or something, but I don't know. That's too complex, I guess. That's how Diablo 2 does it on consoles? There you go. I didn't even know. I don't even play it on console. You can use as many skills as you want D2, but you still only use the same. I mean, I use Blizzard, Ice Blast, Frozen Armor, Teleport, Telekinesis, Static Field, Town Portal. Yeah, I use 7 skills on this class, and this is probably one of the lesser skilled classes, I would say. Yeah, Town Portal is a key. My hotkeys. So 6 skills. Yep. But this is one of my less, like, this is literally one of the less skilled classes overall. And you aren't running into cooldowns, so I can use Blizzard over and over as well as whatever skills I want. When you have cooldowns, everything just is on cooldown, and then you're sitting there spamming your basic skill waiting for your cooldowns to come up. Or whatever one core skill. But I'm saying when I'm on my Necromancer, I've got like 3 to 4 curses. I've got all my different summons. I've got Corpse Explosion. I've got my Teleport from Enigma. I mean, I have a lot of skills. I run out of skill space with my Necro. Paladin, you have various auras that you want to have on there and stuff. Like, this is literally probably the class that I'm going to have the least skills enabled. Now, I also have Battle Command and Battle Orders, so I actually have 8 skills that I use on this class. Because I have 2 shouts as well. So, booyah, there you go. 8 skills. Just go enjoy another stream, Quarantine. There are a ton of hot tub streamers playing Diablo 4 right now. I'm sure you would love all of their streams. Feels like there's a better place for you. Little Gleam Scythe action.
I can't carry anymore.
Llama's mad today. It's just hard to put up with stupid people. They get tiresome. Another Berserker's Hatchet. Or people that struggle to understand that there's different opinions from their own. They can love the game and I can not like it. And they're allowed to not enjoy Diablo 2. But if that's the case, then why are you here? Go somewhere else. I didn't say you're stupid for not liking Diablo 2. I said, why are you here? I'm playing Diablo 2. Leave. That's it. Go watch Diablo 4. Good lord.
I am overburdened.
They're so bored they don't even want to play the game or watch the game. They just want to come to a Diablo 2 stream to try and tell me that I should be loving Diablo 4. I didn't bait anybody, we reviewed it. Vidala's. Again.
Nice D4 patch. I see they updated the graphics.
They did. It looks great.
Llama's you da man.
Thank you, Rag. Another one. All right. That's our first double unique. Our first unique that has doubled up, which technically would not be possible, but this is a new game because I had to reset my computer. So technically in the same game, you would not be able to find a unique twice. I mean, I'm curious to see what the viewer count of Diablo 4 is next week. Because right now they have viewer drops enabled. And whenever a game has Twitch drops enabled, there's always a massive amount of viewers. Will it still have more viewers than Diablo 2? For sure. Of course. It would be ridiculous if it didn't. But there's always a spam of random streamers and then people just sitting with, you know, streams at 140p muted to get whatever drops. And then Fextra Life, of course, is botting the game as well, so whatever 30,000 viewers they bring are always fake. You're literally doing that? There you go. I mean, we all do it. We're like, yeah, I mean, I want to get the drop. We all do it. But like, I had, you know, like, I think I averaged around like 2,500 viewers in Diablo 4. But my statistics, you can like look in your stats and everything. I was actually having less viewers overall of like kind of real viewers in a way. And there were more just viewers that were just sitting. Your sub count went up a lot though? Yeah, they had the promotion with the 2 subs equals, you know, gifted horsey, which I did think was a cool promotion. And then we got, yeah, like 3,000 subs or something, so. Isn't that pay to win? I mean, the horse is just a cosmetic, but yes, I would say it is pay to win. I think cosmetics are pay to win. Because looking cool is winning. Though in Diablo 4, you can look really cool without paying money, so... Cosmetics aren't pay to win. Look, new gamers are not gonna think that because you're used to it. You've grown up with it now. It's ingrained in you. I remember when the first horse armor came around and everybody lost their mind that they made you buy horse armor with real money. Those were the good days when we actually got upset about it. And I don't fault anybody for thinking cosmetics are not pay to win. It all just depends on how you define winning. I define winning in an ARPG as looking cool as well. That's also part of my winning. Being able to look good. Look powerful. If you don't think that's winning, totally fine. But it is for me. Alright, little lead... Oh, Ichor string, not lead crow. Sorry. That's just, again, my own personal take. Which is why Llama RPG, you are going to not purchase skins with real money. You'll have to use your in-game gold and whatever and finding.
I can't carry anymore.
Can we agree Diablo 2 is lacking a bit in the looks department? For sure. I think you can kind of look cool, but you also look kind of dumb sometimes wearing a green hat on your head. But it's identifiable, you know. Everybody knows what you got. Can I buy in-game gold with real money? Nope. Sorry.
I can't carry anymore. I can't carry anymore. I am overburdened. I can't carry anymore.
Shago's the only thing you can recognize? Not true. You very easily can tell I have Nightwings on. I have Spirit. I have either Oculus or Death Fathom. And I'm wearing an Archon plate. All of that is quite easy to tell. Or I have some other, you know, base of this. But generally a sorceress, it's going to be one of these. And since I'm a cold sorceress, then you have a pretty good sense that I'm using a Death Fathom.
I can't carry anymore.
When a paladin walks in and he's got his Haws on, you know it. When if he has a Shaco, if he has a COA, I mean, a lot of this stuff, you really can identify a character. Vamp Gaze, Leviathan, yeah, I mean, there's tons and tons of things. Teriel's Might. Is there something I missed from D4 in D2? What do you mean? Like I wish like D4 has it, but D2 doesn't have it?
I am overburdened.
Is that what you're saying? Something I want in D2 that D4 has. I mean, I do think the visual look of characters in D4 is sick. And being able to customize as much as you do. Yes, you're not able to actually see like what gear the person is wearing, which it doesn't really matter in D4. But I do think there is some cool, like, man, you just look awesome in Diablo 4. Especially some of the classes, Necro and stuff, it's got some awesome, like, cosmetic looks. Crafting in D4 isn't great, but I do think having the ability to like maybe reroll one affix and stuff is kind of cool. It would allow you to maybe get, you know, just like slightly better gear here and there. You can try and make a few more rares or magic items kind of worth it by doing that. I think it could work out interestingly in Diablo 2. Something similar like that.
I am overburdened.
Yeah, I don't miss like combat or anything. I actually prefer Diablo 2's combat so much. Diablo 4 is just, like I said, all crowd control and unstoppable and one-shots. It's not a great feel for me, personally.
I am overburdened.
And explosions after death. So many explosions after death. What should they change about itemization in Diablo 4? For me personally, I think they should change everything. Steel Clash. The whole system needs to be overhauled. I've been worried about itemization from the start, and it is all of my fears of it come true. I just don't like it, plain and simple. I don't like the damage buckets. I don't like the CC everywhere. I don't like the unstoppable needs. I don't like how required things like vulnerable are. It just is not my kind of item system. I think the world boss idea is cool. It just, they're not hard and good fights. So, I agree. I think that's something that could be really interesting in Diablo 2, which we kind of have with like Uber Diablo a little bit, but yeah, it's like a better version of Declone, I agree. But again, they didn't make the fight a good fight, so it's currently not. But it has the very easy potential to be with just like improve the difficulty of it and make it have a little bit more interesting mechanics maybe. Yeah. And even like, I don't know, I feel like we should really sit down and write out, you know, everything about why Diablo 2 itemization is so fantastic in all of the ways that it is. Just to like fully get a better grasp on it. They lucked out on D2? There's too much stuff done right for it to be luck. Plain and simple. The itemization is great, the balance of it is not though. I agree. The itemization, the affixes, the everything is fantastic, but they have their problems. There's a lot of items that end up worthless. There's a lot of stuff that just doesn't feel great. There's a lot of whatever pieces. So the balance of it is dull rune. Suffering still. Yep, a lot of that comes from grief, enigma, fortitude, spirit, the overpower of the Runewords. They did too much. It went too far. It wrecked so much of that balance that did exist. Grief is probably my least favorite of all of it because it doesn't even like really solve, like Enigma solves the issue of like other classes not having teleport, you know. Everybody played a Sorceress once we got around to like 108, you know, whatever. It's like Source, you had to have it, all this stuff. Now it's like Enigma, it like at least did something in that regard of balancing there. But Grief is just like, yeah, we're just not going to make all weapons cool anymore. We're just going to ruin them all. Grief is better than every weapon. End of story.
I am overburdened.
Alright, level 3. Is Grief better in Berserker Axe or Phase Blade? Phase Blade. Who wants to go repair that all the time? Alright, second Tao's Mask. You put it in a Grief and all you do is go back to town to repair it every 5 minutes exactly. It has all the flat damage, so you're like, I don't even need the other parts really. This is a continue from yesterday. We have to do Acts 2 and Act 5. Tau rune. It's our 9th Tau rune, our most found rune. I mean, I think Last Epoch, while fun, still falls way too much into the current modern ARPG design. I still felt it didn't improve on a lot of, or not didn't improve. It still was just another modern ARPG that fit in with a lot of the other ones. I didn't get old school RPG feels from it or big shifts in a lot of ways. They had a couple novelties that I thought were nice. But, you know, if I'm critiquing in that way, another Tau. 10 Taus it is. And an amulet. Siverb's Icon.
I am overburdened.
Alright. Let's hear Warren's idea. He says, I think the rare affix pool should be slightly adjusted to very slightly improve the good mods and rework it for slots that have no good rare selections. And I think Runewords should never be more powerful than somewhat rare, not impossibly rare, best in slot rare item, and then fix all the useless uniques. Yeah, I think that pretty much sums up how I would handle it as well. And Angelic Halo. Pretty much sums it up, which is how Llama RPG is handling everything. Oh, his lawsuit was dismissed. Oh no. Poor Hans. PD2 made some good changes. Yeah, but the power creep just went nuts. I loved the like crafting changes though that were made. Still loving my man Llama, but my opinion of D2 players just downgraded nowadays. What's downgraded your opinion of D2 players? Is it me? Did I do it? Well, sorry, whatever it is. Hopefully a couple people didn't spoil it all for you. Sorry that you guys all just got downgraded. It's hard because you only start modding items, then you start modding useless skills, and all of a sudden the monsters suck. Balancing the game is hard. Yeah, I mean, balancing the game for sure is tough. I know Llama RPG is going to be crazy out of balance when I first started out, and I'm going to be like, oh, I got to completely remove that skill. I need to change that fully. I think one of the big things that is important in balance is that not everything needs to be balanced for a game to be balanced. If that makes sense. That is one of the biggest things that makes balance good. D2 is a good example of that concept. I think fighting games are a great example of that concept. In fact, if every single character is always perfectly balanced everywhere in a MOBA, in a fighting game, in whatever, then you never get meta shifts. You never get characters that are, characters that, oh, I could beat you as Yoshi and you play Fox or something, See, Abaddon. Like the parts to do whatever, the people trying out stuff that is unbalanced, but then finding ways to make it better. And great, Micah. And in a game like this, you can have things that are slightly unbalanced, but they still are able to complete things. I've beaten this game as a naked barbarian. I have beaten this game as a bow barbarian. I've beaten this game, as the strongest classes, as the weakest classes. And it's fun that you have large variance in all of that. It gives you a different experience for the game. But everything is still possible, and it doesn't just feel absolutely horrible or impossible because, well, everything scales at such a crazy amount or something, right? And this is where you can really run into issues. For instance, like D4, I feel has. If you're not playing with, certain skills or with the certain builds or whatever, you just won't be able to kill anything, and you'll still get one shot by everything, and that's it. You just don't have any, opportunity. And that sort of stuff ruins it, and then you have to build everything to be balanced so that everything has access to all of the unstoppable skills, enough damage that it can actually one-shot everything before you get one shot, enough of whatever. And that's where balance starts to become required but not fun and not a good implementation. Careful, I'm going to get downgraded. Sorry. So, that's something that I love in D2. And again, I love when watching and seeing fighting games and whatever, MOBAs, certain heroes being better than other certain heroes, but you still get to play the ones that you love. And yeah, they may be, okay, it's not quite as good in this meta because of this, but you find ways to deal with it. And you have, it's not like it becomes worthless. It's just not quite as good as that top tier, but still totally fine. Hey, we leveled up. Level 92. More damage.
It's locked.
So, where I think certain, you know, even in like D2, certain things go overboard when you get like people modding the game is them trying to balance, like, make every useless skill not useless. It's like, I don't know, man. Sometimes having useless skills is just funny, and then you can do stupid builds like an Inferno Sorceress or Arctic Blast Druid. And you like play it through the game, and it's hard but dumb but kind of fun. You can still get there, and you know. It's like, let there just be A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier. It's just make it so the tiers can at least have, like, I think you could boost Inferno and Arctic Blast a little bit. Not make them crazy OP, but still boost them a little bit and just give them something that people can, it can be a D tier skill that you can still go screw around with and have fun. You know? Nice and simple. Right. So there needs to be tiers, but don't have the gap between them be so far that it's just like one is you can do stuff and the other is you can't do anything.
I need a key.
Would you say it's bad skills rather than useless? Yes. But again, like you said, nobody wants any skills to be bad anymore. But a lot of skills in Diablo 4 aren't just bad, they're useless. Because there's so much requirement. There's such a big gap. If you want to do any of the higher tier dungeons and things like this, you cannot go into those without having your unstoppable skills. You can't go into those without having, you know, enough damage because the monsters are all just murderous. There's no good, like, kiting. There's no good, you know, ways of moving with that. You have to get in there and one-shot them or they will one-shot you. J-mod for the day? Uh-oh. But to be fair, the same can be said of D2. I mean, again, I have beaten the game punching. Literally just punching. I got a barbarian. He used bash and no weapon. I'm not saying I need to be able to kill Uber Lilith with my fist, but I'm saying there is a big difference where I don't think I could even really get through and beat the game. You feel that makes the game too easy? Patty, thank you. Yeah, but the thing is, D2 is harder than D4. Like, go play through the game solo self-found through hell in D2 and D4 and tell me which one's easier. But there's just certain things that you just cannot do. You just literally will not be able to beat the game at all. And those are skills. It's like almost beautiful how well designed, in my opinion, Diablo 2 is, where you can still get through the game naked with a lot of thoughtful... I mean, I had to think a lot about gear. I was running the weirdest things. I was gambling for a blue helm or a blue circlet that had like 100 to 100 or, you know, 1 to 112 lightning damage on it, so that I could get the added damage, so I could have some damage there on my character. I mean, I just had the weirdest things. And that was so fun, because it was a whole new way to think about the game. Yeah, it's like in Dark Souls. There's people that play through the entirety of Dark Souls and never get hit. Does that mean Dark Souls is easy? No. It just means with enough mastery, you can do what seems impossible. And that is the beauty. No, monster. I mean, I like both of them, Capuchin. But I love SSF. Didn't I not finish Melee Sorceress? Yeah, she was tiring. Definitely some room for improvement there. But a lot of that also comes down with the idea of the game needs to be improved in item damage. That's a huge issue that Diablo 2 has. Weapon damage did not scale up appropriately with the patch 110. So all the mobs got a scale to their HP and everything, but we did not get an increase to the weapon damage. And that's why a lot of weapons fail. Tyrone?
What's up, YouTube? Mr. Llama
Oh my
here,
God.
and today we're
What are
gonna.
you doing? Where's the promised low rune? It's coming! Any plans to update my Ice Events guides? They are updated. The only update I need to really do that I can think of is probably adding in Demon Machine for an enchant source and fixing traps in to have Crescent Moon as best in slot. And talk about that that's correct. I think those are the only two changes that I can think of. If you have other changes you could think of, let me know.
I can't carry anymore.
New Runewords though, Hustle Metamorphosis. I suppose I could put a couple of those into... I thought I put Metamorphosis for Druid. Maybe not, I'll double check that. Hustle can probably go into some budget guides. Have I played D&D before? I have. And I mean, that's where a lot of the love for Diablo 1, Diablo 2, you know, comes from. And you can see it. These games play way more like D&D than newer modern ARPGs. Those just play like big action games. Which is fine, but I think you feel much more of, you know, that influence here. Do a D&D sesh, get Moo Girl involved, maybe baby llama.
I can't carry anymore.
Do you think the D4 players will switch to PoE 2 when it's released? I mean, you'll definitely, in my opinion, have the Path of Exile players switch over. Zizarin, Nugi, you know, Rise, any of those guys who are still playing at that point. Kath and Smish, I think will switch over. Probably see Quinn and stuff switch as well. I imagine Crip will be on PoE 2 as well. So I think you'll definitely have an okay amount. But you'll probably keep the likes of Woody and Rax and, you know, those guys on D4 would be my guess. The guys that were D3 mains. Alright, Witch Wild. We found some fun bows. So live stream PoE 2? I'll probably play it a little bit, try it out, see how it's feeling. Don't see a reason why not. I mean, my biggest wait is for Llama RPG, exclamation mark RPG Discord. Yeah, Riker, I imagine he'll still be on D4, so I imagine it will just take the Diablo 3 players, and then maybe if the seasons are good and interesting, you'll have people come back for a season and they'll play for, you know, a few weeks or a month, and then go back to PoE 2 or whatever it is. You know, people, a lot of the modern ARPG people rotate around a lot for like whatever season is kind of fresh. So for Widowmaker. I don't know if I've played much with Widowmaker. I know, it's weird. Nah, I forgot it. Changes with the new ladder reset. I mean, all the changes I ever want to see really comes down to the one thing. Nerf grief a little, but more so buff item bases. That's just what I want to see in D2. That's my biggest change. And then probably adjust the attack rating chance formula to be improved. Remove level from it. Make those two changes, and I think the game will be crazy fun. Merce variety. Yeah, I mean, they can do little things like Merce variety and stuff. Like, there's plenty of small changes, but those are the big ones. Those are ones that would drastically shift the game and change the meta up some and bring a lot of viability and just fun to physical classes overall that have been struggling so much with it. And you can do some adjustments like, okay, the high-end Boazon probably needs to be tuned down then at that case and stuff. So like you can go in and make those adjustments for sure. But Blitz Frostbolt, just like you run in D4. There you go. Did I give up on Act 6? What does that mean, give up on it? Yep, exclamation mark YouTube. We've got the recap and the thoughts up over there. If you just want a really quick recap, they fixed a bunch of like bugs that were just glitches. They made experience in Nightmare Dungeons better. And you can teleport to Nightmare Dungeons. Also, every skill that wasn't used as much got a boost in damage. Or some other small change, you know, like lower cooldown. For the most part, damage boost. And they did fix the midpoint holdout objectives in dungeons, so you actually get experience for killing those mobs. Why is everyone playing Sorceress in D2? I mean, there's actually a pretty good amount of people that are playing like Assassin, Paladin, you know, I feel like there's decent variety, but ultimately Sorceress, you get to teleport around. People love the powerful tele character. Mosaic is nasty good. Needs to be tuned down a little bit. Isn't it kind of messed up that one class is overrepresented? Again, the idea that everything has to be perfectly balanced, I think, is, you know, a silly one. Let there be classes that are more popular and classes that are less popular, and that's okay. Gives different challenges, different everything. Not everything needs to always be perfectly in balance. That actually makes it way less fun, in my opinion. And like online, last ladder, Sorceress, Paladin, and Assassin were all pretty well represented. There were like 100,000 Sorceresses, 85,000 assassins, 80,000 paladins. Then it dropped down to like, you know, 55,000 of assassin, or not assassin, whatever, maybe like, trying to think. Probably barbarians actually, they're decently high. I think druid was the least played class with like 24,000. So, wasn't too bad. Where did I get those numbers? So whenever a character is created, there's the leaderboards. So you can go to the very end of the leaderboards, and you can see how many characters have been created for each class. Alright, Mage Fist. So that was just at a point during the ladder. Third way. Ooh, a Key of Hate. Yes, please. Don't mind if I do. You're ranked 85,877th place this ladder. There you go. So yeah, basically you create a character and then look at your rank and that shows you the last place. Exactly, New Pulse. Patty, thank you for that sub, by the way. I think I missed it from before. Ortrun. Where's my Orts at? There we go. Act 2 is so long. Bro, we still have all the tombs to go through. It really is like such a long act. If you go through all the monsters, there's just so many little side zones and things and 4 ways in the arcane. No, Act 3 was actually way less mobs to kill, I would say. Emotionally, Act 3 is the longest. There you go. Still no skillers. That's kind of sad. I figured all these Grand Charms, we would have found one skiller by now. Alright, Arcane Sanctuary done. Canyon time. Sucks they took out TCP/IP. Yeah. Having mods be able to use D2R like they did with LOD would have been so cool. Would be so great for the game. Being able to play median and PD2 and all this stuff. All we need is someone to hack it. And then honestly, I think Blizzard will just be like, yeah, whatever. Maybe I didn't upload it all at the same time. That's just how I magic it. How's Llama RPG today, Warren? I'm not working. What? Oh my god. Days off? You think you get days off here? I'm sorry, you must have misunderstood. Just kidding, hope you feel better. Oh my god. Again, you haven't even told me what game I'm supposed to play. I can't even go and download the game and get it prepped and ready to play it. $6 MB game has no configuration options. It better not take control of my computer like that one stupid game did. What's my thought on D4's monster design? There's a couple cool monsters, but overall I'd still say that it doesn't feel like there's enough really monster variety, like how it feels. And a lot of that also just comes down to how the combat exists and, you know, the same sorts of issues that you see with PoE or D3 or any of that. Just not enough to care. Okay. Tomb time. Okay, we got ourselves a wall. Beautiful. Yeah, I mean, they also said they wanted white items and blue items to matter and stuff in the early alpha, so I think a lot of things just kind of shifted and changed as the game went on. Am I writing down the stuff that drops? We're just writing down everything that drops in a single game. Killing all the mobs. Ghost armor, alright. Spirit shroud. Would have liked that on my barbarian playthrough for the canopy frozen. Crits the double rank currently work on the other currently modifier like bleed they're currently later nothing despite crits fencing. Huh. Interesting. Oh, good job getting at least some of it working there. Oh, Silos, thank you very much for the Prime sub and reminding everybody they might have a Twitch Prime sub that is available. They can use it here, they can use it somewhere else, but make sure you use it. Because if you don't, you just lose it and you give it to Daddy Bezos instead. And trust me, he will happily buy another yacht with your Twitch Prime sub. Me, I'm buying diapers. For my baby. For my baby, not for me. Oh, nice one. Don't you... No. For the baby. Just to be clear. Okay, Ralrune. One dungeon done. Rune. Okay. I'll get up and go to the bathroom. Unless I'm doing like a 99 grind or something. Hantarius, thank you very much for the Prime sub. Can you carry a little more though? The baby toilet, or did I fix that? I have not bought a new toilet yet. It's so scary having to like change out a whole toilet. Just seems scary to me. Like, I don't know, maybe I should hire somebody to do it. Doesn't seem like it's too hard, but I'm afraid to touch anything plumbing wise or I'm gonna flood my house. Smimic, thank you. But plumbers are like so expensive. So for now, I just go potty on the baby toilet. How many subs for a plumber? I don't know, probably like... How much does a plumber cost to install a toilet? 40 subs.
I can't carry anymore.
At least 1,000? They're that expensive? $300 plus toilets and parts? Oh, never mind then. Let's do 100 subs. Just have Warren install it? Yeah, Warren, you're taking a day off. Can you come install a toilet for me? I'm sorry, that wasn't a question, Warren. As part of your job, I need you to come and install this toilet.
I can't carry anymore.
Megan finds an act too? Nah,
I can't carry
not yet. Did I already buy the new normal size toilet? Nah, but I got a Home Depot somewhere around here. You better not be flying first class down here, Warren. I know how you get.
I am overburdened.
Hey, you want to be a game developer? This is how it is nowadays. Infernos.
Daddy Bezos removed the Prime checkbox from the iPhone app, but we will
Really?
extra work. BC diapers matter more than yachts.
He removed it? Wow. Thanks, Druber. Yeah, I'm not sure how that was 13 pages of patch notes, to be honest. Unless they double spaced it with like size 18 font. But plastic or porcelain toilet? Plastic or porcelain?
I can't carry anymore.
People use plastic toilets? Another one. That sounds super flimsy and cheap. I mean, my daughter has a little plastic toilet that I'll use to like potty train her on, but
I am overburdened.
Mummy sarcophagus is so tanky. Make sure you get a wax seal ring if you get a new toilet. See, that's what I'm talking about. I need all that advice. Get one of those carpeted seats? Bro, that's the nastiest thing. Absolutely disgusting when you go into a house and they have carpet on their toilet lid. And I'm sure a lot of you have it, and I'm sorry. But it's gross. So gross. Gross, but does sound comfy? Nah, man. Thought those were discontinued in the 70s. You can still find them, I'm sure. Alright, that was a big tomb. Oh, still one mob left. So we've got real tomb and 3 fakes left. We've got all the rest though. It's crazy, man, how long Act 2 is. How many mobs just exist in Act 2, I should say. $2,000? Yeah, we need a few more subs for that. Viking Gen, thank you! Maybe if we hit 10,000 subscribers again, we'll buy a $2,000 toilet that sprays. Saigons!
I can't carry anymore. I can't carry anymore.
Ooh, he did nice. Then we can do a bathroom stream with our new toilet. Maybe we've been going about MVS wrong. Instead of D2 overlays, just make them play horror games. Bro, I don't think people would enjoy that the same. Nobody wants to just watch me be scared playing a horror game, okay? That's our 4th Eisenhardt's case. The Easter egg is 19 hours, yeah. He was correct. It would be a start, Sandrew. It would be a start. Okay. Is this one the real one? Potentially. Come on, baby. I'm ready to get into Act 5, I'll tell you what. We've been in Act 2 for too long. Definitely the real one. You cannot find multiples of uniques in the same game. However, this is a new game because I had to restart my computer. So that's why I found 2 of Langerbrisser. Yep. If you would get it, but it's already dropped, instead you will get a rare triple durability, so it'll be a failed unique. So it doesn't improve your odds, it just will not drop that second time when it would have dropped it. Why can you find multiple set items? Set items are not unique. Materials and Templars? Yeah, so that's the thing. If I find Materials in a game, or Templars might in a game, my odds of finding Materials don't improve. I could drop another Templars Might, but it would just roll as a rare Sacred Armor. So Materials will still have the same drop odds. D2 over D4? Yeah. We played a couple hundred hours of D4 and I don't know. It didn't have much more to do beyond that. I didn't feel like I wanted to continue really grinding it after that. Yes, if you happen to get a second unique one, let's say I found Templar's Might right now, and then I found another Sacred Armor, unique Sacred Armor in the same game, that would be Tyrael's Might. So it's not improved odds for it, but it could happen. What would they have to add into Season 1 to make me play it? I would have really liked, I mean, I'll still probably play it a tiny bit, but to really like get heavy into it, I would want to see some like big shifts in some of the ways that I had mentioned before. You know, whether that's a lot of quality of life, whether that's improvements to, you know, like loot hunting and all of that. Soul Rune. There's, you know, just some ways for it to improvements to the dungeon objectives so they're not feeling so repetitive, and you know, just kind of a variety of changes they could make. But overall, I still don't think the game is like my game, you know, a game that I think was, I don't want to say built for me, obviously, but built for players like myself. I think it has just too many pieces that are not really how I enjoy a game. So the game is fine, but it doesn't land a like 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10 for me, you know, by any means. Another tier rune. Another Ithrin. David Brevik didn't build Diablo 4 so his grandma could beat it. David Brevik built Diablo 4 so his grandma could go out and play it and have a basic understanding of how to start. Simplicity, but his grandma or mom would not be making it very far. But she could at least pick the game up, press the start button, and run out there and understand that like left clicking is attacking the monster and just the basic pieces. So yes, that was the simplicity piece was a part of the philosophy in that way. But Grandma had no chance to beat the game, really. Start from scratch, brand new D2, but PoE vet. I mean, it just depends what kind of characters you like playing, kind of Sleepy. I think there's really a lot of like really fun characters in Diablo 2. So, you know, you can kind of, I'd say go through the like tier list that I made, the PVM tier list for Soul of Self found there, and look at, you know, the various tiers. And if you want to be an S tier that's going to really be able to blow stuff up, or if you want to be, you know, play like a B tier character that's going to have a little more trouble, but still, I think even more trouble characters can be plenty of fun. Yeah, I'm just on a big old dry spell right now for finding things. It's rough. Okay, so now we go to Act 5, right? Everything in Act 2 is done. All the no, I still have 2 more tombs to do. Oh, good. Let's kill him in. All good. And I mean, again, you're allowed to really think highly of the patch and love the patch and think that a lot is being done, you know? Hey, we got the unique chest finally. Also, I needed Skull Collector not long ago. That almost was a Grail item. I needed it. Almost. And then we had our boots, right? Yeah. Oh man. Alright, well, Gorefoot. That's actually unrelated to your magic find. It's just rolling odds on chests that are sparkly. Yep, I got a perfect Mars from a sparkly chest as well. You thought Sparkly did use Magic Find? No. Regulars use Magic Find. Sparkly use just a set odds. And then Super Chests can't roll unique. I'm pretty certain. You can go watch the chest video again and correct me if I'm mistaken. It's been a long time. Super chest roll set patterns as well. So, and then they roll rare or magic within those set patterns. I have two videos I think are super interesting for people who want to really look into Diablo 2. The first one is on chest, and the second one is on racks. So if you have a lot of interest in chest and racks, there is a lot to be learned about it, and it's just super interesting. Highly recommended. Io Rune. Yeah, two separate videos. You can find them on my YouTube. What's wrong with you guys? Chest? Like sparkly chest, super chest, regular chest.
I am overburdened.
That is our second rake scar, I believe, as well. Maybe not. Oh no, it's not. Okay. Real mature, chat. IK Helm.
I can't carry anymore. I can't carry anymore.
31%. Okay. And that is all of Act 2. Pretty disappointing. Small term miss, that's okay. I mean, the super ultra chase items in D4 are just silly. They don't even make sense, especially in a non-trade economy. There's too many pieces of Diablo 4 that don't make sense. They don't match up with how the game is supposed to apparently be, and so it doesn't. That stuff just makes it confusing. And part of me guesses this comes from the idea that there is just too much. Ooh, unique ring. Finally a Grail item. There's just too many people developing too many systems, and it's not in line enough, you know. That's my best guess for how it's ending up as such. It's not mantled, you guys. Is it Wisp or is it BK ring? All I wanted was one Grail item from this, and we might finally have it here. No, Wisp or Bull Cathos? Yeah, there's a poll. Which one are you guys voting in? Wisp or Bull Cathos? Thank you, mods. I'm saying Bull Cathos. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for this? Dun 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 dun. It is Bull. Dumbest game. Literally the dumbest game. Grail items are items I haven't found yet in D2R single player with my solo self-found characters. So try and find every item in the game. We have, what, 8 left? Some of them are not that crazy. We could go target farm them, but without Tyrael's Might, no reason to target farm anything else. Very much showtime.
I can't carry anymore.
Wouldn't Terror Zones just be best overall? Yes. But we're killing every item in the game, or every monster in the game, just to... because why not? Tyrael's Might is wildly rare. Materials might is 1 in 100 or 1 in 377,000 from unique mobs in area level 85 areas. So that is very specific to that. In terror zones, it is better. I don't know how much better. I don't have those odds. I'm not sure anybody has an accurate calculator for that yet. And additionally, it is that is not counting for like minions and regular mobs, you know. For like minions, it's probably 1 in like 3 million or something. And for regular mobs, well, area level 85s, it's impossible. In terror zone areas, it's probably 1 in 20 million or something. Yes, loot in Diablo 2 smashes Diablo 4's loot. Knocks it completely out of the water, in my opinion. I'm sure there's some people who prefer Diablo 4's loot. But I think this loot is superior. Who? I'm sure there's peeps out there. Bird, I need you to drop for me. So, Llama RPG, I am working hard to try and make sure loot feels solid. I would love for it to feel as good as D2, but I'm not sure any game has really made it feel as good as D2. PoE's gotten close. Some people prefer PoEs. I think their crafting is a little too overboard, but the currency system in crafting is also really cool, so yes and no. But I'm hoping to get my game to give a similar style of feel while having its own kind of loot, you know, in its own way. But definitely aiming to bring back that feel of like rare items and stuff. And it does have a lot of uniqueness how I've designed it still. How good are the graphics? Not good. It's going to be 16-bit. That's an art style I really like. But if you're someone who, you know, wants your games to look like Diablo 4 or whatever, my game won't look like that. If you want the game to look like this, my game won't look like that. I ain't got that kind of budget. We are building Stardew meets Pokemon. Yes, those are the graphics. Like old school Pokemons. So if you're cool with that, then that's what we're building. If not, I get it. I totally get it. Close. Okay. That's what I'm going for, Inesco. Hey, yo, it's me, the yellow rat from the Pokemans. Pretty much. Yeah, it can take a while. Oh my god. It's a race between Eisenhart's horns and Eisenhart's case. Who will we find the most of? 4-4 right now. Dang, MS. Who will win? Technically, the doors have health bars. Okay. Hey, Mousy. Okay, I said we're killing 99.99% of monsters. If doors are monsters, cool. We'll leave it alone. I don't know why it wouldn't let me go in the Abaddon. That was weird. We did. They're demons, Warren. Don't be a demon apologist. Ugh. Come on. Okay. Oh boy. Demons just chilling there in hell, and Llama travels all the way from Earth to kill them. Look, Act 4, maybe you can claim I'm the invader coming, but even that's just a maybe. No skillers. So disappointing, man. Hey, Alder's Helm. Nice. Mort assistant. What is that? I'm a mortician's assistant is my assumption. There better not be bodies that come back to life. That's all I can tell you. It better just be like a fun, friendly game.
I am overburdened.
Doom was the scariest game I ever played. A scary game. Second Eyes and Hearts, broadband or light band brand. Man, killing all the monsters in these Act 5 areas is tedious. The back and forth.
I am overburdened.
We still get some experience. We're only level 92. Yep, we're going into the furnace and stuff. Every area. Warren, how much stuff is left in combat before combat is finished? You don't have any skills in there yet, right?
I can't carry anymore. Follow me.
Curious where we're at on that regard. It means 109k unique monsters, of which normally there's like 6 to 7 in there.
I am overburdened.
So you're probably looking at like 15 to 20,000 hit runs for those odds. Okay, another Angelix. Warren, go.
15-minute Terror Zone Christmas bonus would be great with this Easter egg.
Right? Taking longer to explain because random difficulty diagnosis keep. I think I don't need to design anything more regarding combat. I just need to add implement functionality for a specific thing. Once I get done everything that is unique, then it'll go quickly. Cool. But right now we can do, like if I go into combat right now, I can choose to like block, attack, counter, all of the actions like that, and all that stuff works. We just have our daily stand up. Doing it now. Oh. What about like, Okay, no escape yet. And what about rest and stamina? Has that been implemented in any capacity? And are there skills yet added? Like kick and... Okay. No skills yet. Okay. Still coming along nicely. Pretty good. Nice. It's a great helm. Yeah, crit works, but effects based on the crit don't work. Cool. Shape-shifting druid playthrough? Yeah, I think we need to do one of those eventually here. Didn't seem like got MF. You do, it's hidden, but it should definitely be working there. Because it worked in BT Diablo, and just remember MF has massive diminishing returns on it, like super massive. So it's not gonna feel like a lot has been gained. Why'd they have to kill Shockwave Druid? I know, so mad. MF is Magic Find. Oh, I need you guys to help me out. So in Llama RPG, there is quote-unquote Magic Find, where whatever your Magic Find is, it will increase... Sorry, let me find Dolrune. The magic find of items that you find, but since you find items that monsters wear, the more magic find you wear, the better items that monsters you fight get. Okay, this is kind of a unique mechanic and way that magic find works in Llama RPG. So it's a difficulty modifier in a way that allows you to get better loot by increasing the loot, improving the loot that monsters have. So higher risk, higher reward, exactly. What should the name of it be? Because Magic Find doesn't quite fit. Doesn't tap into a higher tier loot pool. It just has a higher chance of rolling rare, magic, set, unique items on them. Again, you are only finding items that monsters are actually using. So, I want to know what would be that affix. What should that affix be called when you get it on an item? You get an item and it says, you know, 30% more magic find. What do we actually want to call that? Because magic find doesn't quite fit. It needs to both resemble that The items that they are getting are improving, and their difficulty is improving. Lucky Chance? I don't want anybody to confuse it with any mechanic from like Diablo 4 or anything like that. Power Attract? I was thinking Power Find. I initially was using the idea of Power Find where you could increase the power level of an item that they also had, thus increasing it even more. But I kind of want to get rid of that and just have it be like Power Find. So that's kind of where I'm at right now with it. Maybe it's Attract Power. If it's purely just monster power, that feels like you're just increasing the difficulty of the monster completely. Attract? How does attract fit there? I don't know. Attract confuses me unless you can... Ooh, unique amulet. Maras. We are naming an affix, so something you see on an item that says Magic Find. I have Elich. But it's not just Magic Find, it also increases the difficulty of the monsters. So it is a twofer. It is both increasing monster difficulty and increasing the odds that you find rare loot. Power generation. That's kind of fun. Because that alludes to both the generation of item power. We don't exactly want power, but items being stronger and monsters. We could also just be very literal with it and name it % better monster items. Or monster item power, yeah. Fortune. I just want it to be something for sure that someone, like, will have a general sense. Like, Magic Find makes more, you know, items magic. Better magic, right? It kind of, like, makes sense. I want it to be that. I already have some vague buzzwords, and I'm already not liking them exactly. Like, I have Decay, which helps against enemy life regen and life steal. But even that already feels a little bit vague. % loot enhancement. See, it also needs to suggest, though, that the monster gets the better loot. That is the one thing that's missing. Both things. Y'all really love attract power. I don't understand where the attract comes from. I guess you are attracting more power, is the thought. And like challenge buff or challenge scale sounds cool and is almost good, but it's not letting you know that you're getting better items from it as well, you know? Maybe something like monster gear quality, that doesn't seem too bad. It's a little bit of a mouthful, but MGQ. I like that one. You just called it gear quality? Well, monster gear quality, which the quality of it can be useful there. It's not suggesting power, which is power I want to kind of stay away from as a word because you have power level for items. And I don't want people to confuse that you are getting an increased power level with this. So, monster gear quality seems easy to understand. The monster is gaining better gear quality, which means it's probably going up in magic, rares, all that stuff. And that is increasing his power. I like it. MGQ. Oh my god, that thing exists? I didn't realize that was a thing. Thanks, Lane. You're sticking with monster value. I feel like that is a cool affix, but or a cool label to be used, but not for this. But monster value does feel like something that could exist in the game. Can we turn off paid spam? I will kindly redirect you all to my donation link below where I get more of the cut, but I don't think we're allowed to turn it off. Maybe we can like raise the cost of it or something, I don't know. Actually, we shouldn't name it monster gear quality because then Monster Energy will sue us since we use the word monster, right? So maybe energy gear quality, energy enemy gear quality, I think. They legitimately will. They sue everybody who uses the word monster. I think enemy is better. And lose in court? Yeah, but you still gotta go fight them. You think Llama RPG has that kind of money? Are monster stats defined by their equipped gear? No, it's an addition. So monsters have their own innate stats, resistances, life, all of that stuff. And then their gear is in addition to whatever they have. So each fight should technically be a unique fight, even if you fight the same monster. What will I do if all the Diablo devs come roast my game as retaliation? That's fine. I mean, look. I am trying to make a game the first time I make a game. This is the first time I've ever made a game. And I'm doing all the game design pretty much by myself. Slight input from, other people here and there, but for the most part I'm designing all the systems, everything by myself. So, yeah, you know what? This game may not be great. Llama Find doesn't emphasize the idea that enemies are gaining a buff from it. So I like enemy... What did we call it? Enemy gear... Enemy... EGQ. Enemy gear quality. I'm gonna write that over to Warren. Enemy gear quality. Perfect. So yeah, like I said, it may be not a great game. I'm going to try and make it a great game. But yeah, I haven't designed a game before. So we're going to get what we get. We're hoping to have a demo by, like a good demo by end of July. And then... there'll be a lot of stuff to build in, but then it's like building in more quests, building in more story, building in more of the graphics and assets, and, and we're just kind of doing all the pieces. I personally believe we can have a nice alpha by end of the year where people can really get a good feel of everything. I think we could have it before that, honestly. Nasty in here. Don't call it an alpha. Alpha these days means finished game. Ah, crap. Well then, whatever. No, not sure. Yeah, I'll play it on stream and show off all the pieces. Pre-alpha testing, closed testing for people to engage with the game. So. How can you know if you've killed all the monsters? We can't. This is, 99.9% of monsters. I'm not sweating over every single monster. I've done it before and still missed some, and it's just, it's tough. So. Llama RPG engine test? Yeah. But I think there's really a lot of pieces. I think we can have a lot of audio implemented. I think we can have a lot of graphics for a lot of that stuff in by end of the time. I think we can have the base story and quest line kind of in the game. Hopefully can have, the game kind of its world map designed. Combat, have, basic features of PvP and such. Like, all of that stuff I think we should be able to have by that time. So I would say, the game could do the whole like early access release if we wanted with some of that stuff, but I definitely want the game to have enough of the stuff implemented so that it's not just a bare bones piece, but you're actually getting, you know, more. And there'll be like, you know, stuff to go do after, and the economy can start and whatever. But also, just for the idea there, I think we could do a pre-alpha, because then it'd be great to just get a bunch of testing, right? Go out, test, find bugs, test, find balance issues. This skill is way too strong. This is dumb. I can remove skills, change things, you know, all of that stuff. So. Yeah, I saw the dismissal. Good riddance. Yep. Pretty much, Horn. I enjoy being back in D2. Yeah, I love D2. Okay. Cleared out there. There'll just be a lot of, yeah, unintended bugs and issues and things to just kind of figure out as we go through it all. So. And like I said, balance will be my big concern, you know. Warren will have the concerns with bugs and fixing that and whatever. But my thought will be all around the idea of, is some spell so required that, you know, it's not fun, the builds aren't feeling great, whatever. That's what I want to know. Like getting perma-stunned by mobs. Exactly. I mean, I'll probably find that and see that being unfun, but... Okay. Crystalline Passage complete. Yeah, I've got a tracker that helps it. Feels like we haven't got any decent runes today. Nope. Best rune we got today is a co-rune. Pretty sad overall. I don't know if there's a link to it still, maybe. Got a billion commands. Not sure if one links to it or not. It's called Diablo 2 Holy Grail. I'd probably just look up Diablo 2 Holy Grail app on Google and yeah, worth a shot. Look for it on GitHub. Hi, Rebucks. Definitely a command for it somewhere, yeah. Favorite anime? Oh, Warren knows better than I. I really liked Summer Wars. That was nice. Yeah, it tracks what's in your storage. When's Llama RPG coming out? I mean, the goal is to have it out, you know, like I say, in kind of parts in a way. So, get out the base plus some of the side quests and kind of get like an initial... You can play the whole game. It's got the PvP. It's got that stuff. And then I'll add in pieces. It's not going to be live service like, in this next season, you're going to get this. I'm just going to be constantly adding more and more things to it that I want to have in it. And we'll decide how much we want to do prior and after. Hey, Duriel Shell. D2R online modding when? D2R online modding. Who knows? Llama RPG online modding? You betcha. You can mod all you want, baby. I wish we could mod online D2R. We haven't had this discussion. What discussion? Modding Llama RPG online? Yeah, we were gonna allow people to like make their own servers and stuff, right?
I am overburdened.
Last I heard we were not? What? My thought was you make your own mod, and then if you want to host your own server on it, as long as you require people to still own the game, then they're good to go. That was our... Makes sense to me. Razor tail, nice. I mean, they'll have access to enough where they could do that, right? Not by default? Alright, well, we'll figure that out later. TBD then. Will there be mounts? No. Coco, hello. Mix, hello. Not playing D4? No, we got to level 100. I spend $30 for a D2R Act 6 expansion? Yeah, probably. What do you think about Stormgate? I'm not too optimistic. Why aren't you optimistic? I actually am optimistic about Stormgate. That's Shark Tooth armor good for Fortitude. I mean, doesn't matter a ton, but I'd probably look for a better armor. Overall, you just want some pretty good defense on it, you know. 700, 800 plus defense. Oh, Sharktooth won't get... Yeah, you're right. Sharktooth will get 3 socket max, maybe?
It's locked. It's locked.
Invite some air from the voice and have a semi-podcast while farming. We've done that stuff before. Yeah, I mean, again, we'll have to see what happens with Stormgate overall. But I think it has a decent starting point. It seems pretty responsive. It seems interesting. $7.11. Yeah, I mean, I think that's fine, you know. Like, you can obviously go for a really nice one. It just depends how much wealth you have and how much you actually care about all that. Making sure the defense is, like, perfectly high doesn't super matter. But just as long as it's in an elite base, I'd say that's really the, like, standard I would go for. Personally. I feel like I have a little bit more to do in the Glacial Trail. Let's go back. Oh, I guess not. Why don't I use Frozen Orb? I mean, I could use Frozen Orb instead of the ice, you know, bolt right there, but it's kind of like, I don't want to put the skills in over there. It's just not quite worth. I get way more damage off of my Frostbolt here. My Ice Blast, I mean. Is there a way to confirm every monster's dead once you finish? No! Ziatom, thank you. Or Zlatom, thank you for the Prime sub. Again, I'm just going to kill 99.99% of mobs and then, you know, we'll leave a couple here and there, and that's just gonna happen. The idea is it won't change. Amrin. Items found list shows items from yesterday and today, yes. It just shows items from the same act. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, one game full through. She farmed Mosaic Base. Hell Cows was pretty good at getting Mosaic Base, I feel like. All blue white item playthrough. I mean, I could. The problem is I've done like naked playthroughs before. And blue and white items are, for the most part, less blue, but white items especially are pretty naked overall. They won't be changing much. So I have all the waypoints. I'm missing like one or two because I didn't actually grab them when I was going past everything. We'll go down into that area with the portal here. Yeah, we'll do the red portal once. I'm just gonna clear up to here for now. Classic Barb playthrough 1.0, that'd be fun. Or just classic. I'm doing a good job today. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Impossible.
Did I ever go back to D1? Sure, I've done some D1 stuff. Great game. Doesn't hold up as well, but the game itself is still quite amazing. Just the quality of life does hurt a little bit more. Yeah, you get the one frame whirlwind. See, like those dudes, I don't know, maybe we'll kill them, maybe not. See if he comes closer. You can teleport on a spot on the lava. Sometimes. Just depends. Oh my god, quit running away. You're so annoying.
I can't carry anymore.
A lot of people have a lot of hours in this game. It's true. There's probably people who have dedicated their lives to this game that aren't public streamers. It's also true. I mean, I know there's a few people that, you know, like, aren't streamers but have put more hours into this game than I have. If you go, like, check the forums way back in the day and things, and just even through now to today, there are people that really have just gone crazy on D2. Which is also, you know, I mean, I have as well, so I get it. Bedtime. Have a good one. Good night. Yep. Can't blame them. It's a great game. I hope people love Llama RPG that much one day. For sure. Still no skillers. Only if there's a secret llama level? I mean, it's not a secret. You wake up in llama land, so... You are a llama. Well, that was a weird bug. Really gonna shake everything up? Yeah, we'll see. Alright, back to T2R. Great game, man. What can I say? I know. I mean, I don't really care as much what they're doing with, like, I mean, yeah, it's like the unstoppable stuff is a little silly in that, but otherwise, I don't really care about, like, slightly buffing, slightly nerfing builds and classes and skills right now. My issues with D4 are not there. My issues with D4 come from a lot of the other pieces that I wish they would, you know, be focusing on and improving and adjusting instead, so... That's what I was hoping to see changes on. Stuff like the experience, you know, being bad in Nightmare Dungeons. Those sorts of things. That's what I was hoping we had 13 pages of.
I can't carry anymore.
That's literally what they buffed, though. Yeah, I'm saying that was the one buff that I thought that's what I want to see. I wish we had 13 pages of changes like that. That's what I'm saying. Obviously not 13, you know, you gotta do your bug fixes and stuff, but I wish there was a lot of changes that were a similar idea there.
I am overburdened.
Right. Instead of just a sea of pages and pages of 2% buff to this skill, 5% damage buff to this skill, 8% damage buff to this skill, 5% attack speed buff to this skill, 7% damage buff to this skill. Like, that's the whole patch, you know. Farm items for Summon Mancer? I mean, just kind of everywhere. Depends what sorts of items you're looking for, though, but... Indario Mephisto always got good stuff. I know, I'm an old man. I'm not with the times. I know. Mercenaries using Infinity, Fortitude, Indariel's Visage. I agree, Colm. Yeah, they're not using the, like, Runewords list anymore. They just added in their own names for Runewords. Saigon's booties. Whew. Yeah, there's a lot of bases without unique versions. I did crazy. Okay, what you got for a snap chip? Battle gauntlets today, huh? Bro. Playing D4 and then playing D2R and seeing all this and everything. Everything I play nowadays just makes me more and more excited for Llama RPG. Straight up. Can't wait. Plain and simple. The halberd is the hustle doll Evo, right? No, it's Wostav. Wostav is the lower one. What's the hustle doll Evo again? That was fun. 8 dex, 8 energy, 25 light res. Sinister, thank you very much. Appreciate the prime sub. Beck de Corbin, thank you. Llama TCG is gonna be lit too? Agreed. Hit up this dev on YouTube, a remake of a game better than the official dev. Which, what game? San Andreas, the Grand Theft Auto.
I can't carry anymore. I am overburdened.
A little different style of game, but I'm sure he still has some good knowledge.
Here we go again.
Here we go again. 12th hour. I feel like I've heard of him before. That was Diablo clone. He spawns when people sell a bunch of SOJs on the server. Yep, we're playing with the Infinite Magic Mind Easter egg. Thank you, X, Y, Z, Z, Z. Wouldn't that just make you get a bunch of magic items, though? Because magic items rolled first in the old days before diminishing returns. So back in those days, there was a point of having too much magic find where it would actually hinder your chances of getting sets, uniques, rares, all that. What do I think season content will be like in D4? I don't know. It really is a big question. Will it be like Path of Exile, where there's a whole new league and mechanic and everything revolving around that, new crafting, all this stuff? Will it be like Diablo 3 seasons? Will it just be kind of themed, but they just add like one boss at the end, and then it's just kind of you go to get that boss? Or will they like tailor in whole new items and everything all around it? I don't know. A lot of questions on it. Why is Diablo 2 still superior? Diablo 2 is just an amazing game. They nailed the loot, they nailed the monster variety, they nailed the engagements, they nailed, you know, a lot of the core pillars that make a game amazing. Is it perfect in every single way? Of course not. It still has its issues, but the parts it does nail are so strong. And ultimately they nail what I just consider the fun factor, you know? It's just really fun. Sometimes it's hard to quantify exactly why. I should make some videos comparing the goods and bads of D2. Yeah, probably. Hey, Amrin. It's not much, but it's honest work. Ain't a low though? No, it is not. Finally, we got Venom as well. Took forever to find Venom Ward. So many Eisenheart's plates instead.
D2 has taught us that a flawless gem, despite not having flaws, is still not perfect. So let's just say D2 is a flawless game.
There you go. Just like a flawless gem. Are Nell Striker odds so bad? That's just in the high-end areas. If I went and target farm Nell Striker, it's probably 1 in a few hundred. Down in normal. Will I ever do more PvP in D2R? Sure. I've only ever found one Zodran in D2. Oops. Surprisingly. Yeah, we can do a little more D2R PvP, just enough to embarrass Cooley again someday. My opinion on Mosaic Sin? It's too good and needs to be brought down. Mosaic Sin is kind of everything that you see in modern ARPGs. It just clears everything, blows up the whole screen, you can't even see what's happening. It was a fix to the martial arts assassin, but gone so far. And overtuned. Doesn't need to be like that. Mosaic Sin would fit in perfectly in Path of Exile, Diablo 3, Diablo 4. There's ways to fix it and still make her viable, but bringing her down. And there's ways to also make it even better overall, rather than being so reliant on just two mosaics and all sorts of stuff like that. So I've made videos about how they can fix her. I mean, Boson has a lot of Runewords. I would definitely say a few more of them could use some like more ED and AR boost. But the biggest thing, of course, is they still just need to fix it where your damage is on weapons is better. They can do that. It'll be great. And then some of the stuff will actually do damage. Yeah, Mosaic's super cheap. Do I have contact with the D2 devs? Yeah, I mean, it's not like all the time, whatever, and it's not like they sit there and listen to everything I say about it either, but I definitely can submit ideas and things to them and say, hey, this is feeling really broken, or a lot of people are feeling this way about this, you know. So I definitely feel like, you know, some of the stuff I've said has had some influence on various things that exist within the game. Do I get bored of playing D2? I mean, sure, sometimes. Hey, we found the entire Angelic set, too. Wow. That's cool. That's cool. Oh yeah, we have found Eisenhart's body armor and helm 4 times in this. I just want to, basically, in 110, they increase the difficulty of Diablo 2 by increasing monsters' overall life and damage and all of this stuff a ton. Synergies also got added, a lot of things happened, right? What never happened, though, was items getting their physical damage increased. So, an item that did 2 to 7 damage before could deal an okay amount of damage to a mob. After all of that boost to their life, an item that deals 2 to 7 damage does way less damage to the mob. So all of the physical, you know, bows and axes and swords and all of that stuff just got absolutely wrecked. Right. Synergies got added, but those don't help melee builds very much. Those help, you know, all of your elemental builds and caster builds and everything. So everything got balanced around the casters, which is why casters have been able to keep up and do well, but melee characters and bows and all of that stuff, they just suck, you know. They need so much stuff to do okay. So they just need to increase damage of base weapon types. So then those can actually deal appropriate amounts of damage. What about botted? Yeah, I mean, they added Runewords and stuff that were, you know, grief and whatever, but that doesn't fix 99.9% of items. Instead of adding damage to weapons with improving synergies to melee, increase damage with physical synergies. I mean, things like Whirlwind don't even have a synergy on it. But the idea should still be no, they should improve the weapon damage.
I can't carry anymore. I am overburdened.
Like, the solution is most definitely not continue to try and force more and more into skills and the power of the skills there. Let the items have some power. Like, I don't want item, you know, my weapon base being required like in Diablo 4 where I can't, you know, my fireball damage is based on how good my weapon is and stuff, but let me, you know, start with a physical character and just pick up different physical weapons and play different skills of it and it'd be alright.
I am overburdened.
Because the weapon, you know, shoots for more than 2 to 7 damage. Ralrune. Yep, this is on D2R now instead of just D2 LOD. How many Jarans did I find? During this piece? None. During overall for this character? Found a few. Not a ton so far. Maybe like 3 or 4. Probably 3 for this Grail. On my old Grail, I probably found like 7 to 8. Be my guess on LOD by the time I finished it. We are on player 7, yeah. You found 2 in the past 3 days? RNG, baby. RNG. All right. We're at the final bits. So far, crazy disappointing everything we found. Where's my BK rig? We didn't even hit the low bar, I know. So sad. We do still have to do Pindle and yeah, I forgot. We've got Pindle in the halls left. So maybe Nilithak and Pindle will do something nice for us. Alright. Got Alder's Rhythm. I did cows already. We have 2 runes. That's our highest runes we have found. Now these guys are kind of tough because they just keep coming back to life. So we'll just kind of clear them in a generic way and call it good. Did I stop D4? Yeah, we may go back on season launch. See how it feels. You tried out the new D4 patch. Experience is definitely buffed, but you're still bored. Yeah, I mean, again, the thing is, Nightmare Dungeons aren't really like fun to go play through a bunch. So even though it's a good change, because it is better for that, I don't think it ultimately like changes any of that stuff, you know. Like if you were bored before, you're still going to be bored after. If you were having fun before, you're still going to have fun after. It's not going to like change any opinions on that. How many monsters in total do I estimate we've killed? Dude, I don't even know. So many. I wish there was a counter. At least 10? I mean, yeah, I'll admit, at least 10. That is accurate. Well, plus the limited economy piece doesn't help it as well, so. When did I start the Grail? Oh man, I mean back close to when it launched. I imagine if you go to YouTube and look up Diablo 2 or D2R Grail, Diablo 2 Resurrected Grail, you can like go back and find day 1 video. Day 1, day 2, day 3, all that stuff. Yeah, D4 is still a fine game while you're, you know, while we all wait for Llama RPG. Did I skip a monster? Where? I didn't see it. Nah, no TC-87s. You were kidding? Oh my god, don't joke like that. This is serious. Serious business. What rune? Found it 1 year ago? Perfect. There are 120 areas. If we average 100 monsters per area, bro, there's way more than 100 monsters per area. Even I think on average.
I am overburdened.
Did I kill Lilith Echo in D4? No, I mean it seemed like the only way to really kill her as an ice or as a sorceress was to use the cheap blizzard. Hey, Saigons! Where you just kind of like bug her out with CC and then just abuse that. And that just didn't seem fun. Overall the fight just wasn't a very fun fight for that being like so impossible with all the one-shots and stuff, so I just left it. I know, Epi.
I am overburdened.
Yeah, we pushed monster shrines if we came across them. Act 2 and Act 5 have a lot of monsters. I tell you what, man.
I am overburdened.
Regular wasn't too bad. You can mod in a kill counter? What? For real? You didn't tell me this before? Bro, that's awesome. Alright. Another Hell Tusk. Okay, that's super cool. Can't believe you've never told me that. Time to start over with the kill counter. Yep. Alright. I think we got most everything here. Halls of Pain. Alright, so I want you to take everything about my account and everything, but just change my Annie to also have a kill counter on it. Right. So just make the mod the exact same everything. If you don't use the mod, you can't load the character anymore? Oh, rip. So you're bricking me, huh? Ugh, grotesque are gonna be rough. If I drop the Annie? Not in a million years. Nice try, Warren. I see what you're trying to do. I see what you're trying to do. Yeah, but what if I don't want to drop the charm? Killing me. I still think it'll be cool. Or like a specific run, you know? Just like how many monsters do you kill in a speedrun or something. We got one! Whew! Let's go! Peacom as well. $31,000. Fair dread. So not over 9,000. What dropped? Paladin Combat. Diablo. We will take it, my dudes. We will take it. Come back for that. Do you need to be a sub to play your alpha? No. Exclamation mark RPG Discord is where I'll be like announcing and discussing more of that stuff. There may be some like closed things, invite stuff. We'll have to like figure out exactly. Another Halo. But it won't have anything with my like Twitch sub piece. Barb would have loved these drops. I know. Getting the full set of Angelics. So jealous. I've heard you get better gear in Llama RPG if you're subbed. Is this true? I also have heard that rumor. And I can't deny it. I don't have a full, intricate, look at all of the stuff. But obviously I can't, like, concur. But Warren does have an intricate look. Warren, don't ruin this for me. And I can confirm I can't tell you the answer. Whew! $92. Hello. Probably a few thousand MF. New Diablo or Diablo 2? We're playing Diablo 2, yeah. It's just so beautiful. Okay. All right, the final zone. It's the final countdown. Bow, 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 bow. Nailed it. Nailed it. Very good. Okay, 2/3 out of 4, 2/4. We're getting close. Come on, I know one of you guys has a jaw rune for me. Finish me off with the jaw, please.
I need mana. I am overburdened. I need mana. Not enough mana.
Come on, baby.
Not enough mana.
Ow. Well, that's it. Every monster in the game. Minus Ubers and Declone.